What's going on, guys, and welcome to episode 384 of AskGSM here today for Wednesday, April 14th, 2021. I am Graham GSM Matthews. Hope you guys are doing well. Following a wild WrestleMania weekend that yours truly was in attendance for. Today's episode does fall on the exact 13-year anniversary from when I started watching wrestling. So today's a very special anniversary, and coming off a weekend at WrestleMania in Tampa that I was in attendance for. It's a very special day here today. This is the first episode that's going to be dropping on a Wednesday in about 3 weeks, because the last couple of weeks have been fucking crazy busy, and they will continue to be crazy busy for the foreseeable future. So some reviews won't be up in time. Certain things won't be up at all for a while. The hashtags I had upload on Thursday the last 2 weeks, but today we're keeping it on Wednesday. Might not be up before Dynamite, but we're hoping to have this up before the close of Wednesday. But I will not be flying solo here alone today. We got for the first time, and I think since the summer, if I'm not mistaken. I know she made an appearance a while ago. I might be mistaken, but Alexis, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Hi, I'm great.
And you also were in attendance for WrestleMania weekend in Tampa. Had a great time, obviously.
Oh my god, it was so much fun. It was like, I want to say it was like our favorite trip, aside obviously from the New York one. Like, that's right up there.
I think so. I mean, this one is a little more special because I'll go into more detail at a different date when we have more time, and I just have to allow everything to sink in a little more. We had a private suite, got to go as a member of the media. I mean, I did. She was just a plus one, but she was still invited.
I weaseled my way in, just like I weaseled my way in on the show today.
It was a last-minute trip. Booked it literally not at the last minute, but shortly beforehand. It all kind of came together very quickly, but it was well worth it. Got to interview Bianca Belair. That interview is up right now here in the channel from earlier on Tuesday, so check out that exclusive interview. In the last week alone, since the last episode of Hashtag, I mean, pick your fucking poison. We've had interviews with the all-new Smackdown Women's Champion, Bianca Belair, former Impact X Division Champion, Rohit Raju, new Rockstars, Tommy Bechtel last Tuesday. We had the Miz and Maurice on Monday to promote Miz and Mrs. I also had on Kyle O'Reilly from last Thursday to promote NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. My interview with William Regal should be up by now here on the channel. That was recorded last week. It's up today. We also have many more interviews in the days to come. John Cena is coming soon. CM Punk is coming soon. If you are not already subscribed here to the channel, you better be. You're going to be missing out. So please do so. Subscribe. You will not regret it. But let's get right into your questions here today, starting with the YouTube questions. And I'll mention this real quickly, but if you want to send in a question to the show, you can do so by tweeting me on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant with the hashtag AskGSM. Find me on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Graham.GSM.Matthews. Drop a comment on the post today. Usually put up on Tuesday nights. I forgot this week, but even if I don't, you can drop a question on the wall itself. And last but certainly not least, drop your question down below in the comment section on this very video. I'll include your question in next week's edition. So we'll get started here first with the YouTube questions. Brandon A. did a cool thing 2 weeks ago where he gave me 8 different scenarios. It was the nightmare scenario, whatever it was called. The Nightmare Factory or whatever you call it. My phone has been off and I apologize. That happens a lot. I forget to turn it on silent. He gave me 8 different scenarios. You got to rank them from like worst to least worst or whatever. This one is for the best. These are dream scenarios. What you would want to happen the least and what you would want to happen the most. Okay? You can partake in this if you want. And obviously no one knew you were coming on the show here today because we just decided on you coming on 5 minutes ago.
Surprise. No, I literally was like, I'm recording with you.
But that being said, we'll look at the scenarios here. So we said this is called the Dream Factory. Rank in order from the least awesome to the most awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First scenario, a WWE AEW New Japan Super Show over 3 nights with these 3 main events headlining each night. Okada Reigns, Cena Tanahashi, and Omega Styles. 2. Every non-WWE Big 4 pay-per-view is Money in the Bank 2011 quality for the next 3 years. 3. NXT, though still 2 hours, goes back to the NXT quality of a few years ago permanently. 4. We got WWE Network, New Japan World, Honor Club, and all the rest of the subscription services combined into one, and with no ads for only $4.99, all content available immediately. Number 5, the AEW Women's Division became a great division, and the WWE Women's Tag Team Division might actually get good. 6.
Actually
got good, okay. 6. WWE bought King of the Ring back with real stakes, or brought it back with real stakes, and Survivor Series and the WrestleMania Battle Royals had big stakes every year. 7. WWE operates like it does now, but with the fan reactions like they were in the Attitude Era, and everybody is over and has storylines. And 8, once COVID is completely over and we beat this thing into the ground, you have 4 free tickets to each of these shows. WrestleMania, Wrestle Kingdom, Final Battle, Bound for Glory, Double or Nothing, and the NXT TakeOver Mania show for that first year. So, those are the 4 scenarios. Got to rank them from least awesome, or the 8 scenarios. I was looking at the 4 tickets. 8 scenarios, rank them from least awesome to most awesome. I will tell you right now, I'm going to put at number 8, the Network New Japan World Honor Club for $4.99, all available in the same place. I really don't care about that. I don't watch New Japan World. WWE Network / Peacock is already $5. An Honor Club I have, but I don't really watch it a lot. So I'm going to put that at number 8. Doesn't really bother me. Would you agree with that? Of all those scenarios. NXT, I would have put it 7 because you're talking about the quality that it was a few years ago. It's still a very good show, so it's not like it's shit now. So, I mean, the regular weekly show wasn't even that great a few years ago. So, honestly, I'll probably put that in number 8 or 7. Those 2 are the bottom of the barrel because those 2 don't really matter because especially the NXT one, it's not a bad show even as it is right now. So, I would put those at 7 and 8.
I'm trying to think of like more long-term stuff. Like number 8, the tickets to something, like, yeah, that's cool, but that's a personal thing. That's not something that affects a lot of people.
I mean, it affects me.
Well, yeah, it affects you, but like once.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, you get to go to 5 different shows.
No, I know. It'd be like a cool trip, but it's not as like detrimental because it doesn't affect a whole large group of people, and it's not a long-term decision that affects a lot of people.
Well, it depends how big it is. That's a big thing, even though it's once. If you gave me this scenario a week ago, would I rather see Raw go back to 2 hours every single week, or would I rather get invited to WrestleMania in a private suite? It's obviously going to be WrestleMania in a private suite, even though it's one night. 100%. So you gotta weigh the pros and cons.
What is the question? You're ranking them
from
best?
least awesome to most awesome.
Oh, least awesome to most awesome.
I think these subscription services, it is long term. Don't care. That's at 8.
Okay, yeah, I could see that.
7. What did I say? The NXT thing. It's not even bad as it is. Who cares? So put that at 7.
Yeah.
So that's 7 and 8. 1 would probably be. Everyone is over. And the fan reactions were so that's number 1, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree because I think that would also, like, is he saying that would improve ratings too and they would have big ratings and it would like,
he's not saying that, but I would imagine it would.
That would be so awesome.
So
that definitely would be number 1.
That's got to be number 1. And then 2, I would say would be the every non-pay-per-view for the next 3 years is Money in the Bank 2011 Levels of Good, where Punk beats Cena for the WWE title.
I agree with that too.
That's
how
also an
insane
amazing
would that
show,
be?
and every B pay-per-view is fucking fantastic. So. I'll put that at 2. I was gonna put that at 1, but the big 4 pay-per-views could still suck, is what he's saying, and it's only for the next 3 years. So that's 2.
Yeah.
1 is the everyone is over thing. 3, AEW's women's division really isn't that bad. The tag team division, who gives a fuck? I really don't care.
You gotta clarify at the end, like the order. It sounds
no, I will.
Confusing.
No, I am. I said 1 and 2, 7 and 8. 3 would probably be the Super Show because that would be awesome to get Okada, Reigns, Cena, Tanahashi, and Omega Styles.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm putting that at number 3. 4 would be the tickets. Wait, what did I say for 3?
Number 1.
Okay, so I'm putting my tickets. 4 free tickets to each of these shows. Yeah, I'm putting the 4 free tickets to each of the shows at number 3.
I thought you said number 4.
No, I'm going to put that at 3. I'm going to put it for the Super Show. Right? Or no?
I could see that.
I think they're interchangeable.
Yeah, they're interchangeable.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'll put the free tickets. I'll put the free tickets at 4. Because we've been to Mania before. So, and a lot of these other shows. So, and Double or Nothing. So, I'll put...
I haven't.
Oh, I have. Mm-hmm. So, I'll put the free tickets at 4. I will put the other one, the Super Show, at 3. So, that leaves 5 and 6. 5, but what's more important, the women's division or the King of the Ring being
The
brought
women's
back.
division, 1,000,000%.
Okay.
1,000,000%.
We'll bring back the women's division at number 5.
Did you really just do that?
And at 6, we'll bring back King of the Ring and Survivor Series, and the Battle Royals have big stakes every year. So here's our list in a nutshell. Number 1, everybody is over and has storylines. That's most important. And I assume it's indefinite, like it lasts forever. It's permanent. So that's going to be number 1. 2 is the every non-Big Four pay-per-view is Money in the Bank 2011 level of quality, great, for the next 3 years. 3 would be
The first one.
the Super Show. 4 is the free tickets to all the shows that you mentioned. 5 is the women's division and AEW becoming good, as well as the WWE Women's Tag Team division. 6 would be WWE bringing back King of the Ring and having real stakes, and Survivor Series and the Mania Battle Royals also having big stakes. 7 would be what was the 7? I know 8 was the streaming service. Who cares? And 7 would be NXT. So I might honestly put the streaming service over the NXT one, because NXT I don't really see. I mean, yeah, it's definitely different, but it's not that much worse compared to what it was a couple of years ago. So.
If anything, it's because of COVID.
Yeah, it's a fan thing, so I'm gonna put that's my official ranking. He also said, since we are not in WrestleMania season anymore, I don't want to keep annoying you with old WrestleMania questions. However, in answering last week's questions about WrestleMania, you started in again on WrestleMania 24 or WrestleMania 14 rather, which breaks my heart every time. LOL. Would you mind if I made a case for it for next week, as it is subjectively my favorite all-time WWE pay-per-view? As a matter of fact, my all-time favorite wrestling pay-per-view, period. However, I believe I can give an objective explanation for why it does not suck, including from an in-ring point of view. I would love to hear what you have to say about that show, but honestly, not much of what you say. Because there's a lot of shows that I've seen, a lot of pay-per-views I've been to, a lot of pay-per-views I've seen that I may have a personal attachment to, but I'm not going to make the case that it's the greatest show of all time. I mean, you can if you want. You said objectively. But some of these shows, WrestleMania 14, was fucking terrible. The main event was good.
God.
It sucked. The undercard was terrible. Even Shawn and Stone Cold in the main event, when Shawn lost the WWE title to Stone Cold, they had a better match the year before, King of the Ring. So I don't really know what much more you can say. And Taker and Kane was good for what it was, but the rest of the show was shit. So.
But would you be willing to hear him out?
Oh, 100% I said that, but I don't think much is going to change my mind. So if you want to waste time, go right ahead.
Oh my God.
I'm kidding. Next question from Connor from YouTube as well. With WrestleMania having been 2 nights for the past 2 years and having attended this year, what do you think the format should be in the future, and how long should WrestleMania be if it goes back to being a single day? 2 days, 2 days, 2 days, 2 days, 2 days. I'm not going to hear any fucking argument for why it should be any more, why it should be any less than 2 days. Literally everyone that I have talked to, whether it be a fan or someone that works there, in the last number of days, has said that they want it to be 2 days long every year. Yes, it expands it out. Honestly, I know I've been asked this question before about, whether they should stay 2 days. I was asked this last year, whether it should stay 2 days. I think I said yes, but a big thing what I said was you would have to advertise what's happening on what night. Mm-hmm. And they did do that. And I was very happy about that. As long as you do that, that is all that fucking matters. Because the thing is, it's one of two things with WrestleMania. You're probably saying, WrestleMania was one night for 35 years. Why wouldn't it be one night in the future? Because they have such a big roster. And if they are so adamant about getting everyone on the show.
Like 20 matches, too.
If they're adamant about having 15 matches, then it has to be 2 days. I would love a world where we didn't have Braun and Shane. The match was exactly what it was supposed to be, but it was a complete waste of time. So if you take that out of the equation, Fiend and Orton I can see making the show. The Raw Tag Team title match did not need to happen.
The women's title match.
Which one?
The qualifying one.
Oh, the tag team turmoil, tag team title stuff, completely pointless. Take it off the show. That's at least, we're trimming down 4 different matches right there. Riddle and Sheamus I very much enjoyed. If I had to make the cut, that would probably be one of them. Put it on Raw. So that's at least 5 matches right there. I did that, and I don't even work for them. But they're adamant about giving all these people a WrestleMania moment, and that's awesome. Honestly, they get a payday. That's cool. But if they're going to do that and have all the random-ass battle royals and all this other meaningless shit, then you have to make it 2 days. A 7-hour Mania is not logical. It's not, it's plausible because I guess they've done it, but it's just not ideal. So I'm hoping they stay to 2 days. I don't know if they will. I have very much hope they will. If it goes back to being 1 day, it's got to be a 4-hour show, maybe 5. But 4 is what it's always been. And anything more than 4 or 5, including the fucking kickoff, is just overkill. 5, honestly, is too much too, so forget I said that. 4 hours, including a 1-hour kickoff, is all that's necessary. Do you concur?
I don't agree with the 4-hour thing. I think they could have a 4-hour pay-per-view and a 1-hour kickoff and it would be fine. But I totally agree with the 2 days just because I know you mentioned it too. And I realized it like after Bianca won the Royal Rumble and Edge won and they were both saying they were going to main event. I'm like, no, you're not. One of you is. But then we realized at WrestleMania that they have 2 main events. So it's perfect for the women because the women get a main event and the men get a main event. And it's perfect so you have more people on the show. You can get away with having a longer show one of the nights or both of the nights because like it'll start at 7 or 8 and then end at like 10:30, 11:30 or something like that. I think it's a great idea. I wasn't a big fan of it when they talked about it last year just because I feel like some people like consistency and if something's been done one way, they want it to stay that way. But that being said, it also, it being 2 days makes it feel like less of a big deal because it's like spread out and there's like time in between.
I agree with that.
But everything else, all the other pros outweigh that one con, especially the fact that like if I was to go for WrestleMania, like we did, it was a whole, like, it was a little weekend trip. It was nice. Like, you didn't have just one day. Like, you had something to look forward to the next day if you had the money to get the tickets for the second night. Like, it's a bigger, it does, in fact, you could argue that it makes it a bigger event. But I could see the other side of it. But I totally agree. I think 2 days is great, and I think they should do it again next year and every year going forward.
The crowd is hotter, the matches are better, they get more time, it's just a much better system, and the show ends earlier, above all else. For anyone that goes, that is absolutely priority.
Yeah, because when we went for WrestleMania 35, like we've already mentioned multiple times, like getting back to the hotel at 4 a.m. was not fun. I mean, that's MetLife's fault, but the show ended at 12:30 and it started at like 5, and it was just... I was looking forward to the main event more than anything, especially because it was the first women's main event. Joan Jett was going to be there, and it was Ronda Rousey was there. Like, and by the end of it, I was like, I don't even care if I see this. I just want to go to the hotel. I'm tired, and that's not how it should be. Like, they don't deserve that. The people in the main event, if it's one night, they do not deserve that. They deserve something more.
I agree. So hopefully they do it again in the future, especially with like Becky, Ronda, and Charlotte. I feel like that match specifically would have been a lot better received had it happened earlier in the evening.
Absolutely, and it would have been a better match too. And not to mention, the finish was terrible.
It
was a short match. Like, I guarantee you, if the match was not the main event, it would have been like 20 minutes. Like, or 10, 20
Yeah, they had
minutes.
to end because it started at midnight, which was the problem. People were falling asleep, you know.
It was
Kofi
very
and
short.
Bryan. If they put Kofi and Bryan in the main event, I don't think it would have been as well received as it was because it happened in the middle of the show as opposed to the end of the show.
So the Becky match would have been in that spot if they switched them out.
Yeah, the crowd would have been a lot hotter. I can't think, honestly, of a great main event in the last couple of years. That both of this year's main events, I'm not sure if anyone asked about this, but Sasha and Bianca, and then especially Edge, Bryan and Reigns, were the 2 best Mania main events in the last 10 years. I enjoyed the Boneyard match. That was different because that was cinematic. But other than that, 2 years ago, the Triple Threat, liked it. Not one of my favorites. Roman and Brock before that, not that good. 33, Taker and Roman, which I was there for, which was fucking terrible. 32, Roman and Triple H sucked. 31 with Brock and Roman was the last truly, in my opinion, great WrestleMania main event that had fans, aside from Styles and Taker. The reason why that was such a good match was because the show was almost exactly 4 hours long.
Oh, really?
That was it. 32 is when they started doing the 5-hour shows. 4.5, 5 hour, 5.5 hours. That's when it started.
I think if you cut it off, like if you make WrestleMania itself 4 hours and then do like a kickoff beforehand, because not everyone watches the kickoff.
Oh, who cares about the kickoff? When I say 4 hours, I'm talking about the main card.
Okay, because you mentioned the kickoff earlier, so that's
I meant the main card plus the kickoff. They have a 2 hour kickoff, completely pointless. Make it 1 hour, if only half an hour. They had no pre-show this year. Amazing, no kickoff. That was amazing.
They could definitely. I mean, I'm only saying 1 hour because I didn't know if they could make it shorter. They should do like if they want to do one. I think half an hour would be good.
Well, for WrestleMania, an hour makes sense. For every other paper, 2 hours is ridiculous. An hour is perfect. Half an hour for every other show is perfect. So the way they used to do it was an hour pre-show, sometimes 2 hours, but usually an hour. And then it would be a 4 hour show. It would always end. It would go from 7 to 11, nothing more. And the reason they did that was because they had to. They were on pay-per-view. And they had to get off the air at a certain time. So when the network came around, 30 and 31 were on the network too. But at a certain point, they're like, oh, maybe we can get away with doing over 4 hours. And they used to do that every year. And it's like, dude, stop. Like, the shows should not be fucking ending at midnight. It's ridiculous. And everyone's tired, and the performers are the ones who are hurt by it, moreover than anyone else.
Especially the travel and all that stuff.
They don't really care about that. But, if you're watching
that's just another thing to add to the list.
Yeah, after 32, it got bad. But every other Mania, this is what I'm saying. They used to cut out all the bullshit. They didn't have as many meaningless matches. They didn't have 14 matches on a card. They'd be back in the fucking 80s, but that's because the matches were like 2 minutes. Other than that, though, the matches were not that long, and you got to cut out the filler. I think from like Mania's 20 to 30, they got it right. They had all the meaningful matches, no bullshit for the most part, and the shows were over in 4 hours. I think going back to Mania's being 4 hours and then the other shows being 3 hours is perfect. Honestly, the COVID was the best thing to happen in that respect in terms of the pay-per-views, because now the pay-per-views are like 2.5 fucking hours, 3 hours the most. They are not more than that without fans, which is amazing, because before they'd be like 4 hour pay-per-views. SummerSlam does not need to be 4 hours. Money in the Bank does not need to be 4 hours. I'm sorry. Next question from @Reborn Again, John Ritland from the Twitter machine. Check out his YouTube show, Real Honesty with John Ritland. It is great work. His question was, so of all the matches and moments you saw at WrestleMania 37, which one was the worst received? Which one was the best?
That's a great question.
A great question. Worst is an easy one.
The worst was The Fiend.
It wasn't even close.
It hands down. Like, as someone, I've never seen Bray Wyatt live before, so honestly, I was one of the people, I was just excited to be there and excited to see him. We were both excited to be there in general, but I was excited for the match. Match started. First of all, the red light is back. Why? Who knows? But surprisingly, it's not bad in person, because when we were there, it wasn't that bad.
No, that's because it's a stadium. When you do it in the other places, like an actual, smaller arena, it sucks.
It's probably worse.
If it's for this one match, I'm fine with it. That didn't really bother me as much as the outcome.
Well, yeah, the outcome was horrible because, first of all, why would you have Bray Wyatt lose? Just literally why? In every sense of the word, why? Why would you do that? And also, why would you break up him and Alexa? Because that makes no sense. Everything accumulated into one hot mess.
Yep.
And the fans were booing. Everyone loved to see Randy Orton too, which was bad because they were kind of rooting for him, but they also really wanted The Fiend to win. And then he fucking lost. And not to mention the box-like structure. That was confusing too. As said by Michael Cole. Yeah. But it was horrible. And the entire arena booed so loudly. That was the loudest boo I heard out of both nights, I'm sure.
It wasn't even close.
Yeah, definitely. It was horrible. Everyone hated it. And then even the segment after, people were booing still. They were pissed. And not to mention, they ended the whole thing. You'd think someone was going to come out or something like that. There were no big returns on the show, which was a little bit of a disappointment. But they ended it by having them just disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Which made it even worse, because everyone just started booing even louder.
Yep.
The whole thing was a mess.
Yeah, it was terrible. The outcome sucked. The match itself, I didn't really mind that much. It wasn't great, but it wasn't awful. Not as bad as the 33 match, which isn't saying much, but the outcome sucked. And then when they showed the replay later on in the night, they booed that too.
Yep, that was definitely by far the worst received segment. Definitely. And then that was the first match. Really, what a great start.
Night one had no issues like that for the most part.
No.
I think the worst thing received on either night, aside from Fiend and Orton, the outcome to it, was the fact that when they announced that there was going to be a rain delay, they're like, all right, everyone take shelter. That got a lot of boos.
Oh, that got a lot of boos, but I was also going to say Hulk Hogan every time he spoke.
Oh, yeah, that was funny, too.
He got booed.
Yeah. Best received, other than Edge's reaction, he's talking about matches or moments, not people.
No, I know.
The main event was awesome. That got like 3 This Is Awesome chants. That was definitely the best received. And what was more impressive about that was the fact that it was the main event. After a 3-hour show, people had been there for a while. Again, another reason as to why the show should be 2 nights or they should just have less matches.
Yeah.
Easily the best received match was that. Edge got a great reaction. In terms of moments that were like best received, Rhea's win got a big pop. Trying to think. Bianca winning. Bianca winning got the biggest reaction. That was very well received. Crowd was going nuts before they even touched. So the 2 main events, I think, were the best well received. And then when Drew and Bobby made their entrance for the first real entrances since the pandemic, those got huge reactions too.
No, let's talk about the very first segment before the show even started when all the wrestlers came out. That was the best received.
Oh, yeah, that was the best received.
That was the best moment out of both nights because everyone was so emotional. All the wrestlers were tearing up. We were tearing up. It was great.
Yep.
I would say definitely that's the best moment. But like the best received segment or like match was obviously both of the main events because they were fantastic.
Easily, yeah. Both matches were great. And the opening the night one was awesome before they got the rain delay.
And Cesaro winning. That was another one. He got a huge reaction.
Yeah, people loved that. It was a great match. So, yeah, there was a great crowd for both nights, and they booed what they should have. They didn't just, cheer everything just because it was their first time having fans back in a while. John's second question, do you think Mania 38 will end up having a full crowd or will there still be capacity restrictions? I think there will still be restrictions, especially because when you say full crowd, that's a full stadium. That stadium in AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, fits 100,000 people. They are not, I know Texas is open. I know it's going to be another year by that point. I will be very surprised if they go from having 20,000 this year to 100,000 next year.
I think they'll do like
maybe 50%.
I was just gonna say I think they'll do like half capacity,
or more than that. I don't think it's gonna be full.
No, I don't think so. I think they might do half capacity, or they'll do like half to like 75%, if that. But I know we were talking about it, and you said when they announced it, you said they'll do full capacity. But I don't know if that's because you changed your mind since then. But you said that on like night 1
of WrestleMania. I don't think so. I don't think that. Thinking about it realistically now and where we are now from where we were a year ago, yeah, the vaccine, more people will be vaccinated by that point. I just don't see a scenario where they're like, oh, the pandemic's over, let's everything go back to 100%.
No,
it's going to be a very slow process. We are only now getting to 25,000. It's been a year.
Yeah.
Again, we're only now just getting the vaccine, so it's going to speed up a little quicker. I could see it 50, 75 even. I just don't think we'll be back to 100% normalcy in a year from now. I just don't think so.
I totally agree. I completely agree. And I don't think they should do that anyways because that is way too many people after like having nobody for a year.
Yeah, it's just too close.
Not to mention, you don't even like even if they wanted to push that many fans to have like a bigger crowd and have a bigger reaction and stuff, they don't really need that many fans if that's what they wanted to do. Because when we were there, it only had 25,000 people, but they were so loud. Like you even said, it sounded like a full stadium.
Yeah, it didn't even really matter. I know they want to boost the numbers and do the sell-out crowd, blah, blah, blah shit.
Yeah, but if you're talking like crowd reaction stuff, you don't need that many people for a good reaction.
I don't think they care about that. They just care about numbers and making more money.
No, I'm sure, but I'm just making another point.
Yeah, no, I agree. Noob_N_Co 1991. What's next for Asuka, Bayley, and Sasha Banks? I can see Sasha being in the new season of The Mandalorian. Bayley feuding with the Bellas later this year. Oh, and Asuka should take some time off. She did a great job during the pandemic. Asuka, obviously, I think they're going to build a Charlotte, Rhea, and Asuka. She should not win.
Please, for the love of God.
Nobody but Rhea should win.
Exactly.
With Asuka, I think after that, you either... I would say give her some time off. I feel like she is overexposed. And the thing is... I say overexposed. She was hardly on the show as Raw Women's Champion. Mm-hmm. So she's not overexposed. The problem was that she never really takes time off. She never gets hurt. She wasn't overexposed when she was champion. She should be on the show because she was champion. She's not champion anymore, so she doesn't really need to be on the show. I'm not really sure what more you do with her anyway. There's no one in that division on Raw. Like, I don't want to see her and Charlotte again for the millionth time, or her and Nia. Who cares? Or her and Shayna's been at this point, who could give a shit? So I'd rather see Asuka take time off or go to SmackDown. I think that's more likely. What are we going to say?
I totally agree, but I also think, like, I completely agree with that. Like, she definitely needs time off, or she definitely needs to, like, get away from Raw. And not only that, she needs to be repackaged or something, or made into, like, a more serious character, because her character right now is pathetic. Like, I'm just going to say it. It's pathetic. Yep. It's a joke. Like, the way she acts is embarrassing. Or not the way she acts, it's the way they have her act. Because she's not like that. And she's great and all, but it's just so forced, and it's so embarrassing to watch. It's really cringy.
Yeah, she has a super cringy character right now. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of how they book her and whatever. So she's been very successful, obviously, and very accomplished, but I think some time off might do her good. Maybe come back more intense. If it hasn't happened now, I don't think it will. Mm-hmm. But you never know. Bayley and Sasha. Bayley, I have no fucking clue. No idea, honestly. They obviously didn't have any plans for her at WrestleMania, which tells me they don't have any plans for her on SmackDown now that WrestleMania season is over. Mm-hmm. They can rekindle the rivalry between her and Bianca. The problem with that is that Bayley's done nothing to deserve it, and Bianca already ended her feud with Bayley with a win. So there's no reason to really go back with it. They did trade wins. They are 1-1. So if you want to do the rubber match, maybe the next pay-per-view, that could work. But other than that, I'm not really sure. Again, maybe she goes to Raw. I don't really know who you have her feud with on SmackDown unless you call someone like an Io Shirai up. So I don't really know. With Sasha, I think they will continue her and Bianca. They should continue her and Bianca. The feud only got good in the last couple of weeks. So I would have that feud continue, turn her heel. Maybe she can feud with someone else on the SmackDown side. Again, beyond Bianca, I don't really know who else the fuck they have, because they have Sasha's a heel, Carmella's a heel, fucking Natalya, Tamina are heels. Like, they need more actual baby faces beyond Bianca Belair on SmackDown. Again, maybe that's why they need Io Shirai, so not exactly sure. The Bellas thing, who gives a fuck? Who cares? No thanks. Any other thoughts on what they should do with Bayley and Sasha?
Are they both on? Yeah, they're both on SmackDown. I can never remember.
Yeah, they just feuded, yeah.
I really don't know. Bayley, I think, has so much potential. Please, for the love of all that is holy, do not put the Bella Twins on TV. Please don't. And I know they will. I can't stand watching them. Bayley has so much potential right now. Like, I really don't know. I think the whole WrestleMania thing, her not having her on, she's kind of had like a reset in her character. Like, she could go anywhere from here, and that's the problem, because we don't really know where she's gonna go. I would love to see. Oh wait, no, she's on Raw. Like, I never know where these people are.
Oh my god,
I don't even know who's on SmackDown. I don't know. I would love to see her feud with some new people, but I don't know who's where. I know you mentioned Chelsea Green should be debuting.
That's another one.
Debuting.
She's a heel. She'd be a heel. She should be a heel. So like. Yeah. SmackDown needs more faces in that women's division. They have Bianca, Sasha, I guess, but like...
No, I don't count her.
No, I don't count her either. She's more of a heel now anyway.
Do you think
I feel like it's too soon for Bayley.
I was going to say, do you think they should turn Bayley or make Bayley... Bayley could be a good guy, but like not in the same sense she was before.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, she could be a face with this current character. I just think she's better as a heel. It might be too soon for that. Carmella's not... Again, they just turned her heel, so like, I don't know. This is why they should have not moved Naomi and kept her on SmackDown. Like, Naomi would have been fucking perfect. Instead, she's on Raw in a pointless tag team with fucking Lana. Who cares?
And same with Mandy Rose.
Yeah, they could have had exactly. They could have had Mandy Rose on SmackDown as a lead babyface, and it could have worked. They have Sonya Deville. They bring back Sonya Deville.
Yep.
She's a fucking heel too, and she should be a heel. So like, they have a real babyface problem in that division. I'm glad the belt is on Bianca, because she can defend the belt, against all these other heels. Mm-hmm. But they got to figure that problem out.
Yeah.
John, going back to John's question, third question. What in the world was that Raw after Mania supposed to be? Even the lack of debuts could have forgiven the show if it was good, but it wasn't. That show sucked.
It was horrible.
The Raw after WrestleMania last year sucked. I mean, there was no fans, so it was even worse. There was no noise at all. But I remember it being worse, because last year's Raw after WrestleMania, they did a vignette for Jinder fucking Mahal coming back. Nia Jax came back last year. And they had Big Show come out and challenge Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship.
I remember that.
That was the single worst Raw after WrestleMania I have ever seen. that put the show that we went to 2 years ago with the debut of Lars Sullivan, the return of Taker, and all the other shit that happened. There was some good stuff, and the main event was terrible.
The Firefly Funhouse debut.
It wasn't Firefly Funhouse, but it was the Bray Wyatt vignette.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was like the greatest show of all time compared to the last 2 years. Monday, there was no excuse. No fans, but I'm thinking, okay, maybe they didn't do anything major at WrestleMania because they're saving it for Raw. Nope. Business as usual. A triple threat with the same three fucking faces, Orton, Braun, and Drew. Nothing new. Yawn. The Viking Raiders I thought was cool. I like Charlotte's promo. Retribution can go fuck off.
Charlotte's promo was so boring because, side note, she literally is like, it's time I'm not being humble anymore. Like, your whole character is that you're not humble. What are you talking about? That was a yawn to me. Like, yeah, it was good, but she does stuff like this all the time. So, like, okay, you're literally just saying the same thing over and over again.
That line itself was not good, but I think the promo was actually one of her better promos I've heard in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And the match with Ripley and Asuka was nothing notable. Just disappointing.
Not to mention it ended in a DQ, and like you said, Charlotte should have just came out without doing the promo. Yeah, it would have been
a bigger deal, exactly.
And then she does the promo after.
Yeah, that was stupid.
And the only debut we got was the debut of the new commentator.
That was it. And that guy he did decent, but he needs more time, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, the show is not good at all. Hopefully Smackdown on Friday is a lot better than that, but whew. Yeah, the 2018 Raw after WrestleMania was easily the last good one they have done. The one that we went to was decent, but the 2018 was like the last truly great one. Because on that one alone, they had the debuts of No Way Jose, Adam Rose, No Way Jose, who is Adam Rose, AOP is what I was going to say.
Wait,
and Ember
what?
Moon. Yeah, AOP.
No. You just said No Way Jose, who is Adam Rose.
Yeah, it's like they had the same gimmick, the whole dancing gimmick. It's the same shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They debuted those three people, or four, because AOP's a tag team. And they brought back Jeff Hardy. They brought back Samoa Joe. And who else? I know someone else returned that night. I don't remember. But they had like 3 returns and 3 debuts. I'm like, wow, this was a great show. Not Finn. It was someone like that, and it was a really, really good show. That was the last truly great post-WrestleMania Raw, and that was 3 years ago. So it's kind of lost its luster by this point. At Iwagu91, their first question was, do you think WWE booking Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander to no longer be aligned with Lashley and MVP is because they're more high on the latter duo, especially Lashley? I mean, I'm no rocket scientist, but I can tell you the biggest reason why they broke those guys up was because they like Lashley and MVP more than Alexander and Benjamin. I thought that was pretty clear. They don't give a fuck about Shelton Benjamin or Cedric Alexander.
But that doesn't make sense to me, because then why don't you just have Cedric and Shelton there, but don't have them appear all the time, or have them do their own thing, but also be aligned with Lashley and MVP. You don't have to break them up.
The whole reason why they put them together, I guarantee you, was to get Lashley more over, and it worked. But then just keep them with Lashley, like you said.
Just keep them, but don't have them come out every time. Like, I really don't.
No, it's all or nothing with them, though. It's either they're all a cohesive unit or there's nothing at all.
Exactly. It makes no sense. Like, that was the greatest thing going on Raw, hands down. Definitely the greatest thing, aside from a few months ago, the Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss stuff. But that stuff has gotten stale, and now it's just shit because they broke them up. But they made a huge mistake, because that, I don't know.
Yeah, it was stupid.
I totally agree.
I mean, the fact the guys were in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and they got tossed in the first fucking minute should tell you all you need to know about how WWE views Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin.
Mm-hmm.
At Iwagu91, second question, did you know that Sasha Banks became the first competitor born in the 90s to headline WrestleMania? That is incredible. I did not know that.
So the youngest?
Yeah. I mean, no one was... Yeah, I mean, there's no one... Yeah, headline. I was going to say... be at WrestleMania, but that would make no sense because Nicholas was there and Rhea Ripley was born in the 90s too. I was going to say I thought she was born in the 2000s. But anyway.
No, Rhea is a year younger than you.
Austin Theory was born in 01 or 02, right? Wasn't he? Austin, isn't he 19 or something?
He's not. No, he's not. He's like 20.
Okay.
Or 21.
Okay, even if he is 20 or 21,
oh,
it's
no,
2021.
22, I think.
Okay, if he was 22, then he's definitely not going to be on. I mean, he was definitely not born in the 2000s. I thought he was born in the 2000s. Mm-hmm. But anyway, yeah, Sasha Banks became the first 90s kid to debut headline WrestleMania, which is pretty cool.
Good for her.
I mean, it should happen a fucking long time ago. But
I mean, not to mention, it obviously was the first all black women's main event, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah. Wait 1 second. How old? Bianca, I think, might be 32. I was going to say, what about Bianca? You only mentioned Sasha. Yeah, she's 32. She was born in
1989.
Yeah, so... Yeah, that's crazy. Because Roman was born in the 80s, too, so... That's great. I don't look at Bianca as like an 80s person. I mean, obviously, it's the very tail end of it, but...
Yeah.
It's fun. That's crazy, though. Anyway, back to the Les Questions. Do you think that WWE should have Adam Cole continue to sell the effects of the Unsanctioned match before potentially debuting on either Raw or SmackDown? Yes, but after NXT last night, they showed footage of the two on a gurney. They teased that Adam Cole is not done with Kyle O'Reilly. Why the fuck you would do an Unsanctioned match and then do another match after that? I don't know.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. It does not.
They did do that with Gargano and Ciampa when they first started feuding, but I thought that was like, why do an Unsanctioned match if you're just going to do that? It makes
exactly.
No sense.
That should be the final send off, especially if it main evented.
Stupid. Dumb. I like the match. I love the match. I just don't know why you would continue it if you're going to do a fucking Unsanctioned match. But anyway, yeah, that should be a send off. He already lost to Finn Balor. He's not going back he's not going back after the NXT Championship. He's literally done everything. It's time to move on. If Undisputed Era is not getting called up together, which they aren't, he's got to move on a lot like Roderick Strong seemingly is.
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, him, quitting NXT. But I think Adam Cole should be off the show for a few weeks and then show up on SmackDown 1 week.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that would be
SmackDown
perfect.
on Friday. Or no, actually. If he's selling the Unsanctioned match, maybe he shouldn't be on SmackDown on Friday. But...
No, like maybe like up to a month not on the show.
Yeah, by
really
the end of the month or early May, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. In a month, shows up on SmackDown, and then you can go from there.
I agree. At E13A, I know you watched WrestleMania live in attendance, but have you heard anything about the commentary? Oh, I have. Highlights included nobody knowing what a jack-in-the-box is, with Michael Cole calling it a box-like structure during Orton and Fiend. Yeah, I listened to Solomonster's reviews of the show, and he said Michael Cole was just fucking terrible. Between that and the fact that he botched the ending to Banks and Belair.
Mm-hmm. He said that Banks kicked out, right?
Yeah. No. So, yeah, I did hear about that. I heard Michael Cole was atrocious. I didn't hear anything bad about anyone else, aside from the fact that Tom Phillips wasn't there. But, what? Oh, my God. We'll get to that question next. Alexis is laughing. Yeah, the commentary sucked. I'm so glad we were there because we don't have to hear shit. We could have if we wanted to because we had a TV in our suite. So, and I'm like, if I had an excuse to watch on the show but not hear the commentary, this would be it.
Yeah, it was funny seeing Solomonster's tweet when he said he called it a box-like structure and he goes, "It's a fucking box."
Yeah, exactly. What do you expect? It's a fucking box. I thought that was funny.
That appeared out of nowhere though, like random.
It did. RJ asked me about how it got there. I wasn't paying attention, so I don't know.
No, they did it perfectly with like distraction and everything.
They did, yeah. At E13A, second question. Not sure if it's a late April Fool's Day joke or whatnot, but is 2021 Tamina's year? I will say this. She got a much, I don't know why.
None of us know why.
Better reaction than she was like the star of the match.
Like,
I think it's
bullshit.
because I was talking to someone earlier. I think they had mentioned maybe because she's been there so long and she's the seasoned vet. I think Solomonster said the same thing.
Her dad's a murderer.
Listen, it doesn't matter if you've been here a year. That doesn't matter. Her dad being a murderer is not her fault. It doesn't matter if you've been here a year, 5 years, 10 years. She could be here a fucking decade. She has been here a decade. She's been here since 2010. Hasn't improved a lick. My big toe, which currently fucking hurts, has more talent than Tamina does. She's awful. She's terrible. She sucks. Natalya, I get, because at least she is good to a certain extent. Tamina sucks in the ring, sucks in the mic, sucks in the character, sucks blah, 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 blah. The fact she has not held the title is just, you have to go out of your way with everyone. I feel like Oprah. I feel like Vince McMahon is Oprah. You get a title. Jinder Mahal, you're champion for 6 months. You could be as bad as Jinder Mahal and still be champion for 6 months. Tamina has been here a fucking decade, 11 years, and has not won anything except for the 24/7 championship for an hour. That takes a special kind of talent.
I have more luck winning the Olympics in like track and field than she does at improving as a wrestler. And that's saying something, because my mile time is horrible.
Everyone gets a run to the title eventually. She never got a single run with it because she's terrible. And I'm not even saying she should have, but the fact that she's still there just astounds me. So to answer your question, the answer is no. Is it the year that she gets released? If that's what you're asking me, I don't know. Potentially, but probably not. No, I don't want to see anyone out of a job. She's not good, though. At E13A, thoughts on the Hurt Business replacing Alexander and Benjamin with those two guys from Retribution. Fucking terrible. We already talked about this, but it was stupid. The fact you would break up the faction to begin with was dumb. But then to put those clowns in there instead, listen, I like Dominik Dijakovic, and I think Dio Madden's good in the ring. I don't know. If they come out next week and they're like, oh, don't call me T-Bar, my name is Dominik Dijakovic, and they come out in suits, then that might have some
That would
legs.
be cool.
It wouldn't be as good as Cedric and Shelton.
No.
But it's different, you know? I'll take it. I'll take it. If they come out wearing the fucking dumbass Retribution shit, then absolutely not. Absolutely not. The faction's going to be dead in the water before you can say hallelujah. I mean, the fact that the costumes are terrible, the Retribution shit is just not good. So it's just damaged goods. They have to move on from it. The Hurt Business does not need the Retribution garbage. So I'm really, really hoping that, that we can move on from this. And if you're going to put them in the group, then that's fine, but they can't be doing the whole Retribution garbage. We got to go to the next couple questions pretty quickly here, but let's see. From Lex to Giacomo.
Who's that? She's pretty.
I wonder. I agree. Hi, Graham. We talked about this at the hotel, but what's a list of celebrities / non-wrestling related people you would love to interview in the future?
I really would love to know, since you've interviewed so many wrestlers.
Well, wouldn't you know, I made a list last night.
You did?
I did. I made a list of 10 people in no particular order. I'm going to go through this quickly. These are people that I would like to talk to. One is Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy was number 3, beyond CM Punk and Regal, who already knocked off the list. Matt Hardy's number 1. He's a personal inspiration of mine. Big Matt Hardy fan. He will always be number 1. Zack Ryder, because he was always one of my favorites. He is still one of my favorites, and he's the only one of my original 7 favorite wrestlers ever I have never talked to. I mean, I met him, but we met him together last year or 2 years ago during WrestleMania weekend. Never interviewed him. I've talked to Punk, Regal, Jericho, Christian, all of them, except for Ryder. So Ryder's on the list. Hoping at some point I can talk to him. 3 is The Rock. The Rock is just, I think that's, I got to put someone on there who's a little far-fetched. Rock would be sick.
That's not far-fetched at this point. You interviewed John Cena.
Okay, you never know. So The Rock is on there. 4, again, in no particular order. 4, Christopher Lloyd, obviously.
Fantastic.
5, Tony Shalhoub, who played Monk on the USA Network show. Big fan of one of my favorite shows of all time. I think it'd be incredible. He does a lot of stage stuff. Love him. 6, James Roday, who played Sean on Psych. Again, one of my favorite shows of all time. 7, this is incredibly random compared to the last couple of names. Indy Hartwell, just because I've known her for a long time through Twitter. We've been mutual friends, followers, whatever, for close to 10 years now. So now that she's in WWE, I think it'd be cool to interview her.
That would be awesome.
That would be cool. So she stands out because she's no Matt Hardy or Zack Ryder, but she's on her way.
These are all wrestling related, but
no, James Roday and Tony Shalhoub are not wrestling.
Well, yeah,
Christopher Lloyd's not.
A lot of them are, but it's okay.
No shit. I mean, The Rock wouldn't be wrestling related. There's 3 names on there that are not wrestling related.
Okay, I'm proud of you.
Okay. I fulfilled your request. 8, Randy Orton, I think would be sick. 9, The Undertaker, again, far-fetched, but you never know. And 10, Batista. So
Batista would be awesome, and you could definitely get any of these people.
You never know. As long as they're alive, anyone's possible. For me, maybe not, but you never know. Let's see. Your next question: if you were locked in a room with all the living necessities and a TV for your only source of entertainment, and you could only watch one pay-per-view and all the seasons of one show and one movie, which would they be? One pay-per-view, probably Money in the Bank 2011.
Okay.
I think. One season, all seasons of one show, probably Psych. If not Monk or Psych. I enjoyed House too, but it's a little more depressing, so probably that. Not Raw. I'm not counting the seasons like it's Peacock. And then one movie, Back to the Future.
Which one?
Second one.
The second one?
Yeah. Or Endgame, choice. Probably Back to the Future Part 2.
I like that.
What's your answer?
My answer? Oh, shit.
Off the top of your head, quickly.
My pay-per-view, I would probably just say either WrestleMania 35 or the Royal Rumble, the 2021, because it was amazing. The show, I would probably do... God, I don't have like one answer, but for a TV show, I would either do Law and Order SVU because like that was the first TV show I like fell in love with, or actually, no, I would do Black Mirror because I love Black Mirror. That is my favorite show, hands down. And one movie,
Godfather.
I would do The Godfather.
Yeah, it's an easy one.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Retribution possibly joining the Hurt Business? Never thought I'd be typing that. We already talked about
Yeah,
this,
we already discussed that.
Fucking trash.
Horrible.
Trash. And when are we coming out with new WrestleRant merch? First of all, none of your questions had a fucking hashtag at the end of it, but I was nice enough to answer them. So you're
I
welcome.
can't believe you.
Whenever your ass starts designing new merch.
Comment on this video or tweet Graham or me what kind of merch you'd want to see, because I want to design some. I just don't really... I mean, I could
That's
figure
not
out
my
what
priority, so I don't really think about it, but you could...
That's my priority, because I'm not...
I have the
busy
Eat,
as
Sleep,
you.
WrestleRant repeat shirt, but other than that, we don't have any merch.
I have some ideas. I just would love to hear from other people what they think would be cool.
Okay, just let me know. At Jeremy 8911, do you think Roddy Strong and EO are getting moved up? EO, no. Roddy, yes. I don't know why Roddy would resign if he was just staying in NXT or going to 205 Live or some shit. Unless he's leaving the company, which I guess is a possibility. I don't think he is. I think he's getting moved up. EO, not yet. I think she's going to stick around for a little while. She might team with that Sarai girl. I've seen people say that in the tag team division. Help kind of help her the same way that Kairi Sane helped EO.
Yeah.
You know, they team together. I can kind of see it. It's not just, they're Asian, put them together. But I think they'd be like an amazing team.
Yeah.
And I think
I agree.
It's also something perfect for EO to do that's outside of the women's championship picture. The tag titles would be interesting, especially since they have their own tag team titles at this point. So, yeah. That's what I think is going to happen. Maybe after SummerSlam for EO, if not a little before then. At the Wrestle Guys, Sal's got a couple questions here. We got to go quickly through these, so we'll make them quick. Let me see. I got a handful of questions. All right. No, we got to get going here, so we'll just answer Sal's question. And he's got good questions. I just can't spend a lot of time on him. If you had it your way, what would be your main event of choice at WrestleMania 38 as it stands now? My personal choice is Drew versus Roman. I believe there can be big money there. There can be big money there. A story of Drew finally conquering the one guy he never beat on the grand stage. Honestly, yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah, I was going to say Rock and Roman, but that's not until, I would think, Hollywood in 2 years.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with, I completely agree. Drew and Roman, I think, is a great choice. How do you feel about building Cesaro up all the way to SummerSlam to face Reigns? I think WWE needs to capitalize on his big Mania win, but I think they need to hold off on his title match until that time rather than a B pay-per-view. You know, I agree. Ideally, do it at SummerSlam. I don't trust this company to keep Cesaro hot in the next 6 months. If this was AEW, maybe like an Adam Page. I honestly don't think if you don't do it at Backlash or Money in the Bank or whatever in the next couple of months, I don't think they're going to be as high in. Vince McMahon changes his mind more than the guy changes his pants. I mean, at this point, they need to have him go for the championship before SummerSlam. I think SummerSlam would be perfect. I just don't have enough faith in them to do well by Cesaro before then.
Yeah, I agree. What you just reminded me of is I think Cesaro could be a great person to win Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I think they might do it in June. It's not in May because Backlash is in May. But no, I agree. I think it'd be perfect for Money in the Bank. I don't even know if he needs it. He already beat fucking Seth Rollins, so that's the thing. It's either you do Cesaro at SummerSlam or Big E. Big E, you can wait until WrestleMania next year, I think. So, ideally, yes, SummerSlam would be awesome. Who do you fill the time with Roman before then? Bryan and Edge again? He beat Bryan 3 times. That's enough. Edge, maybe, but he's a heel. Who else is there? Kevin Owens again? No. Cesaro, yeah. Rollins, no.
Logan Paul? No, I'm just kidding.
It's like they don't really have anyone on that. I feel like they have to do Cesaro before SummerSlam and then do Big E at SummerSlam or someone like that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the future holds. His last question, Lesnar versus Lashley seems to be on the horizon. The question is, what do you do with Heyman? Do you simply just have him align with both Reigns and Lesnar? Or do you have Heyman favor Reigns to eventually lead to a heel Roman versus face Lesnar clash at some point? I think if Brock comes back, it would be on Raw, and I do think Heyman would be with both men.
I agree.
Would they do the match eventually? Yes. Who would he align with? Probably Brock. Brock needs him more. Roman doesn't need Heyman. I think that's why it works, actually, because Roman can do well on his own. It's just a great pairing together anyway. But yeah, I don't think he would have to choose. Like when Punk was managed by Heyman while Lesnar was out, when Lesnar came back, they did the feud eventually, but he still managed both guys. And that was on the same show. So now that they're on two different brands, Heyman's going to have to pull double duty, but I still think he'll do it. Mm-hmm. So that's what I see happening. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
At the average grunt, say the WWE were consistent with having the Royal Rumble winner main event WrestleMania every year. If you could switch around the matches of Manias where that didn't happen, 11, 22, and 23, and so on, would that make them better, worse, or the same in quality in your opinion? 11, it would have made it better because the main event was headlined by Bam Bam Bigelow and Lawrence Taylor, who was a football player, and the match wasn't terrible, had no business being the main event. Why was a celebrity match in the main event? That's like if you put Bad Bunny in the main event, match still would have been fun. Why would you do it in the main event? Mm-hmm. Stupid. So that would have made 11 better, which was arguably one of the worst WrestleManias of all time. 22, I don't know. Triple H and John Cena was great. I just think with Ray, Kurt, and Randy, which, Ray won the Rumble, so that should have been the main event. It just should have gotten more time, even if it wasn't the main event. So I could see that. 23, yes, Batista and Taker was the best match on the show, and that should have main evented. Would they have had as good of a match as they did if they did main event? I don't know. Because the big reason why the match was so good was because they were pissed off that they weren't the main event. So I think, would it have made the shows better? I don't really think it would have mattered. 11, yes. 22, I don't think it would have mattered. 23, that was still a good Mania anyway. So it helps, but I don't think it makes these Manias that much better. If you put Shawn and Taker on lasted 25, that would have made that show better. Because Triple H and Randy was not good. So, but that wasn't a Rumble winner case. That was something else. Last two questions here, or a few questions here. We'll make this quick. At Scarlet, one best and worst of NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. I thought both nights were great. No real weak parts at all. I didn't really think the Wave versus Shotzi and Ember was all that exciting. That was probably the worst, quote unquote. That's really about it. I mean, the ladder match was great. I loved Cole and O'Reilly. I thought Balor and Cross was a lot of fun. I thought Io and Raquel was great. I don't really have any complaints.
I agree.
I know you want to go quickly because you want to eat dinner, so we're
I'm hungry, but I agree though.
You guys sent a lot of great questions. Of course, we have a lot of great questions on the one day that you want to go eat dinner. This is what you get for joining GSM. We're answering the fan questions.
I'm fine. I don't have an issue.
Mm-hmm. Best and worst of WrestleMania.
You need lunch.
I didn't have lunch. I'm fucking hungry. But I got to answer these questions. The people, the people demanded their answers. Best and worst of Mania. Best, the two main events. Mm-hmm. Rollins and Cesaro was great.
The opening segment,
Drew and Bobby was great. And Riddle and Sheamus were my favorite. And Bad Bunny's performance.
Yep.
Yeah.
My favorite was definitely Cesaro and Rollins. Bad Bunny, the whole entrance with everything, it was just great. Like the bunny entrance.
Hey, Hop Hop was dumb, but it was great.
It was so funny. The first segment was great. Rhea Ripley winning is definitely my favorite moment just because I love Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
The two main events were incredible. The worst was hands down The Fiend.
The Fiend losing, and then the women's tag team title match in the tag team turmoil was worse.
And the fact that everyone was chanting Tamina and Natalia. That was
about it, because I feel like everything after the tag team title match in night 2 was better. Mm-hmm. Like, not every match was great, but it was better. Like, Braun and Shayna I wouldn't even put in the worst either, because it wasn't bad. I didn't care, but it wasn't bad.
I hate Shane McMahon, but it wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad. It was fine for what it was, and had a good finish, so... Honestly, that was really it. I thought overall it was a damn good show. At E13A said on Twitter, it said Randy Orton and the Fiend entertained the fans on Twitter, and when it does like the trending topics, did it really entertain the fans?
No,
it did the exact opposite. We were all fucking pissed.
The Logan Paul being there was also one of the worst parts, but it wasn't a match.
No, that didn't bother me because he got a stunner, so it didn't really bother me. Oh, yeah. Owens and Zayn was a great match too.
That was great. Good. It was great.
At E13A, have you ever seen this? It was a D'Lo Brown entrance video in a TNA. I have never seen that. I thought that was funny. I watched that earlier. Last two questions at Misdemeanor6. I hope I'm not too late for hashtag, but GSM, who do you think will be the first AEW heavyweight champion that isn't a former WWE or member of the Elite? Great question.
Oh.
Because Hangman's a former member of the Elite.
I was going to say
Yeah, Hangman. I know. I was going to say that when I saw WWE. Cody Rhodes is in WWE. He was in WWE. Darby Allin.
Yeah.
Darby.
Yeah.
Who else? Who else has like been near the top? MJF probably.
Oh,
actually.
yeah. Yep.
MJF at some point. Who else is there?
MJF, Darby. Those are good.
Those are good. I'm trying to think. Is there anyone else? Sammy, maybe. I don't see him winning it before the other guys.
I don't really know because I don't really pay attention to AEW right now because it's not exciting for me at all.
Wow.
It's not.
Wow. Shit talking.
I know everyone likes AEW just because it's not WWE, but like I like it too. Don't get me wrong, but
Bullet Club's back. Too sweet.
When
Young Bucks are heels.
When we
it's exciting.
When we tell you
Fifth under time.
When we tell you that there are literally almost 15 to 20 factions on that show, probably close to 20. Like what the fuck? Like that? Like seriously? Why?
Anyone who's not in a faction soon will be. Like Christian, he's not in a faction. Team Tad's trying to recruit him.
Are you kidding me?
I swear to God.
Can they stop? Like, it's so annoying.
It's like high school. Everyone's in their own clique.
Oh my, it is so annoying. Like, seriously, that is one of the reasons why the show pisses me off. And the shitty women's division. And the excessive amount of tag teams, which goes along with the factions. But we're getting off topic.
Yeah, I'm going to say MJF and then Darby Allin.
I totally agree with that.
Lance Archer would be cool too, but he's a former WWE guy, so he doesn't count. Mm-hmm. That's actually kind of funny when you think about it. I struggle to come up with names, and then most of the people they have are all fucking former WWE guys. Maybe Jungle Boy, but that's not for a long time. And then that's Simple Messy.
Oh wait, never mind. He is WWE, isn't he? Wasn't he in NXT?
Luchasaurus was. Yeah, he wouldn't count. Yeah. I thought we had one more question, but that's Simple Messy from Carlos. He was just congratulating me on going to WrestleMania. That wasn't a question. That was something else.
Oh.
We met him after WrestleMania 35 outside. I think he was drinking or something like that.
Oh, outside the merch stand when I was like annoyed
we were waiting.
about
Getting the that kid. Yep. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Hi.
I've known him for a long time. That had nothing to do with this episode. He doesn't even know it's going to be on, but I just saw that in my likes because I haven't put the document together yet. But that's it, guys. That's it for episode. What fucking episode is this? Oh my God, 385, I think. Pretty sure it's 385. Oh no, I'm trying to double check here. God, I am not prepared at all. Yep, 385. That's what the episode is today here for April 14, 2021. My favorite day of the year, not really, but the day I started getting wrestling, and it was very cool. We can answer your questions on this very special day, coming off an awesome WrestleMania weekend that we were in attendance for. That's so. I appreciate you guys checking on the show. As always, be sure to send in a question by tweeting me on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant with hashtag AskGSM. Find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Graham_Matthews by dropping your comment on the post that I usually put up on Tuesday nights, if not on the wall itself. And be sure to leave your question on the very video down below, on the very comment section on this very video. I'll include your question in next week's edition. Check out all my other exclusive interviews in the days to come with CM Punk, William Regal's coming up today, other WWE stars. So be sure to subscribe, directors, other TV personalities, a lot of interviews going up. Trying to hit 100 by the end of the month from April of last year. So tall task, but we're on our way. Up to 91, I think, after today. So a lot of shit coming up, guys. Be sure to subscribe. Appreciate your support. Any final words, parting words, Alexis?
No.
None? No words of wisdom?
Other
than we're going to have dinner and we're very hungry.
I'm hungry, and make sure when you buy mangoes that you know when they get ripe, because I've had a mango in the fridge for literally over a week, and it's still not ripe, and I'm annoyed.
Wise words from Alexis. Mm-hmm. Thanks, guys, for checking out the show. Appreciate it. For Alexis, I'm Graham GSM Matthews. We'll catch your ass down the road.